PHHS, where tonight we're at jam-packed Port Huron Northern High School as the Huskies play host to their crosstown rivals, the Port Huron High Big Reds. I'm Randy Fernandez, and to my right, Dave Mino, and we'll bring you all the action of tonight's ball game. Dave, what can you say? Jam-packed? You can't even get a ticket for this game tonight.
No, they're waiting outside right now, Randy. They've already made the announcement. If you leave, you won't get back in because there's people ready to take your seat.
Dave, again, in a ball game like this, you've been the head basketball coach at Memphis over a number of years. What does this game mean to the coaches and the players in a big game such as this?
Well, whenever you get two crosstown rivals playing against each other, Randy, I think you'll find that this game means as much as the district and the state tournament means, because these players will see each other all year long. They have the bragging rights of the town. Everybody likes to win because they see each other at the restaurants and throughout the day. And through the summer, these guys are going to play against each other, so this is a big one.
Well, at least it's definitely the big one, at least for another month, when these two teams hook up again in a couple of weeks down at Port Huron High School. Again, in a game such as this, both teams coming in here, Port Huron Northern 9-1, Port Huron High 7-3 overall. What are the keys to tonight's ball game?
I think a couple of the keys. First of all, for Port Huron High, we're going to have to come out in some sort of a press that will slow Northern down, possibly a diamond and one. I look for them to play a zone because the only team to beat Northern so far this year played a zone, and Northern had trouble shooting. As far as Northern, they're going to have to shut down Terry Miller, deny him the ball, and make somebody else beat them.
Well, we hope you'll stay with us for tonight's exciting broadcast. Our referees for tonight are Joel Vigna and Jim Gosker, and right now I'm going to turn it over to our public address announcer, John Brown, for the introduction of tonight's players and the playing of our national anthem.
Will you please stand now as we listen to Mike Miller, a graduate of Port Huron High School, who is now employed by Port Huron Northern High School, as he sings the national anthem. Mike Miller.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oscar. And Joel Vina on the book. Michelle Christensen on the official clock. Third, Osman and assist.
Well, David, I'll tell you, I don't know who's more nervous right now, as both these teams or myself commentating this game. It's just very nice to see this big of a turnout for such a fine rivalry.
It sure is, Randy. And you picked a fine game to introduce me to the broadcasting world, because you can hardly move behind you to the side. You got people yelling in your ear. This is just a great environment for high school sports.
So this is definitely what it's all about. It's the best $3 you can spend anywhere, especially on a Friday night. Recapping the Iron lineups for tonight's ball game for the visiting Port Huron High: Keith Gates, Tony Miller, Terry Miller, Carlos Ellis, and in the middle, Brian Coleman. For Northern, Troy Snyder, Andre Powell, Chris Hall, Bobby Wright, and the man in the middle for Northern, Rob Dawson. We're just underway. Northern High out of bounds to Port Huron Northern. Again, our referees, Jim Gosker and Joel Vina.
Well, Randy, it looks like High is going to sit back in the zone to start off with.
Well, I talked to Coach Jim early before the game, Dave, and he said they were going to start in a 3-2 zone, and we're going to have to see how that's going to be. He wants Northern to beat it from the outside. And again, Bobby Wright way outside, partially blocked, rebound to the Big Reds. Bobby Wright calls for the first foul to reach in. And again, Dan Hand didn't like that. That's probably the least player he can afford to lose. And again, kind of a ticky-tack foul there to reach in.
Yeah, it is. You hate to get fouls early on, especially reaching or hand checking, anything like that. If you're going to make a foul early on, it's going to have to be to stop a bucket.
Well, it was interesting. Port Huron High opened up in his 3-2 zone. Northern in a tight man-to-man.
I thought that they would. I think that Northern feels they have to put pressure on. Nice move in there, a screen up high and a roll.
Credit the basket to Brian Coleman, but credit the great assist to Keith Gates. For only a junior, he creates a lot of opportunities. And Port Huron High with the first lead of the ball game, 2-0 with 7 minutes to go here from Port Huron Northern.
Northern appears to be working the baseline against this 3-2 zone. There are some openings there. It's going to have to take patience, though, to find it.
Andre Powell for three. Oh, net for Andre Powell. And again, on that shot, I didn't notice that the ankle injury was bothering him at all.
No, he didn't start last game, Randy, against Roseville, but he appears to be healthy tonight.
Keith Gates from 10. Air ball out of bounds, and we've got a foul underneath against number 54, Carlos Ellis.
That's his first personal also, Randy.
Well, the crowd behind us getting on Keith Gates a little bit, yelling air ball. But I'll tell you, Keith can fire it up. He's got a shooter's mentality.
It was obvious that he was looking for the shot on that one. They set 2 picks for him. He set up for the 3, let the shot go, but that's all right. It's going to make Northern extend the pressure a little bit more.
And a quick substitution, number 32 for Northern. John Pickett checks in for Troy Snyder. Troy rubbing his leg a little bit. And Brian Coleman brings the Port Huron High fans to their feet as he swats away that shot out of bounds to Port Huron Northern. Nice pass inside by Hall. Dawson can't get it to go. He goes up again, and he's fouled underneath. Let's check and see who it's on.
Van Williams did a good job staying with the miss right there. He went back up strong, and he's going to take 2 on the line.
Foul on Keith Gates.
Foul is on number 12, Keith Gates, his first. Rob Dawson for Northern.
Dawson, 2 got down.
And I'll mention this early, as I always do, Dave. Free throws later in the game always seem to play an important role. So we're going to chart these, or you're going to chart these for me. Right now, High hasn't gone to the line, and Rob is 0 for 1. And we'll just have to see how big an important place they play in this ball game here tonight. Rob splits a pair, Northern for 2.
Port Huron High just threw the ball away. A little bit of pressure. Bobby Wright putting some pressure on the inbounds pass.
Well, Jim Early, again, up off his feet, not liking what he sees there. Bobby Wright was down by himself. You can run the ball after a made shot. And again, careless mistake there by Port Huron High.
Northern's doing a good job moving the ball on the perimeter, and High has packed it in as we predicted.
Nice help that time by number 30, Terry Miller. I'm looking down to my left on the Northern bench, and Troy Snyder has an ice pack wrapped around his left knee, and again, that's going to be very important here tonight for Northern.
I agree with that, Randy. If he's not in there to run the offense, we're going to see some changes, I think.
Keith Gates.
And Keith Gates picks up his second. Jim Early scratching his head, wondering if he's going to leave him in or take him out. A very important decision here early for Coach Jim Early. And Bobby Wright will go to the line, I believe, to shoot two.
Number 32, Shaka Smith. In for the Big Red.
Number 32, Shaka Smith, comes in. Keith Gates takes a seat. And again, very important here with only 2 minutes gone by. Keith Gates sits down with 2 personal fouls.
Showtime Snyder back in for the Huskies.
There's an encouraging sign. Troy Snyder's checked back in. Dan Hinn's got to be happy about that.
Well, definitely, again, a super sophomore, all-city quarterback as a sophomore, the leader offensively for this team for Northern checks back in.
Bobby Wright did a nice job. He had both the free throws, put Northern up 6-2.
Well, we've got an interesting, as a sidelight, we've got an interesting matchup as Terry Miller hits his first shot. We've got a couple brothers teams going at it here tonight.
Yeah, the Millers and the Powells. It should be an interesting matchup.
Nice defensive play by Terry Miller and Tony Powell, rejecting Bobby Wright underneath. Good no call there. And again, tough defense by the Port High Big Reds.
It appears High wants to run whenever they get a chance.
Tony Powell hits his first shot of the night, and quickly Port High ties it at 6-all. Nice passing by Portland Northern and Chris Hall. Foul underneath, I believe, by number 42, Brian Coleman. Nice job there, Northern, breaking the diamond press of Portland High.
I agree. The ball hardly is hitting the floor against this press, Randy. They're doing a good job, and they're moving the ball right down the floor.
Eric Lindsay into the Big Red lineup.
And again, that's the 4th team foul from Portland High. Again, 7 puts in the bonus. Portland High with 4 with 5:24 to go in the first quarter. 6-6 our score. Chris Hall. I was just going to say Chris Hall gets the home team bounce, but no bucket as it touched the back support. And referee Jim Gosker, Johnny on the spot to wave that one off.
That was a good call by the official. It did hit the support, Randy.
Chris Spitz a pair, High, Portland Northern by 1. Nice block underneath by Dawson. And we've got a travel call on Chris Hall. Again, Tony Miller trying to use his speed, goes baseline, but a nice block there by Rob Dawson.
It was good defense on the help side that time. What High is doing right now is setting screens high for Tony Miller to use his quickness and drive. He's doing an excellent job. You're going to have to see some more help from the backside.
Number 34, Eric Ratchey, checks in for Portland High lineup.
Come on, Derek!
It was interesting the last game, Coach Jim Early started Eric Ratchey in place of Keith Gates. Thought Keith would be very valuable as a 6th man, but he went back to the original starting lineup he's gone with all season here tonight.
Well, I can play a couple of roles. Sometimes the 6th man coming off the bench is important, but the other thing that he did was get somebody who might not always get with the starting unit some chance to play in a ball game, and that's exactly what Ratchey got.
Tony Miller from 10, can't get it to go rebound. Coleman blocked away by Dawson. Dawson with the steal, quickly up to Troy Snyder. Nice play by Tony Powell. I'll tell you, Rob Dawson is, for the last 2 years, has stood behind Tom Bluequist, who's been all everything here, who went on to a college scholarship at Alma College. But I tell you, he's a senior now, and Dawson has really stepped up his play for Northern.
I have a feeling that Dawson learned a lot from Bloomquist, having to play behind him for all those years, and that's a fine person to have to learn from. Action's going back and forth right now, Randy.
Well, it's fast and furious in here. It's very cold outside, but it's very hot inside here for tonight's ball game. Chris Hall can't get it going. Nice foul as a shot, but slipped away by Tony Powell.
Good job by Powell to pull it back out.
Nice pass by Tony Miller. I correct myself, I've been calling him Tony Powell. Nice pass by Tony Miller inside, and Port Huron High go to the line to shoot two.
I'll have to agree with that. I was calling him Tony Powell also. And we're both going to have problems with the four brothers out there tonight, Randy.
Number 54, Carlos Ellis, will stop to the free throw line. As we've got a couple wholesale substitutions, I'll try to reset the lineups for you. For Northern, Snyder, Andre Powell, Tony Powell, Rob Dawson, and number 44, Brian Beckham. For Port Huron High at the line, Carlos Ellis, number 44, Dwayne Ward, 34, Eric Ratchie, 30, Terry Miller, and number 22, Tony Miller.
Carlos Ellis at the line. Ellis.
Well, we do have both sets of brothers out there right now, the Millers and the Powells. Nice write-up, I thought the Times Herald did on both families.
I agree with that, Randy. John Nagowski at the Times Herald has been previewing this inter-city rivalry all week. I think they've done a great job of building it up.
Dawson free throw line extended, rebound two. Port Huron High, but referee Joel Vigna's got a foul. It's going to be against Northern.
Good job by Brian Becker following the shot up.
Tony Powell.
He just couldn't capitalize on that.
Tony Powell picks up his first team third. 3:33 to go in the first quarter. Port Huron Northern 7, Port Huron High 6. Well, that's one nice thing. Having gone to Port Huron Catholic and Port Huron Central, I can be very impartial since I never went to either one of these schools, and I don't think you did either. Did you, Dave?
No, I don't see it. Right there, we had Chris Hall filling up from the free throw line extended.
Ratchie with his first 2 points of the evening. Northern on the turnover. And Coach Dan Hand wants the timeout. And with 3:04 to go, Port Huron High takes their second lead of the evening by a score of 8-7. David, has it gone as expected for you the way the teams have played offensively and defensively, even though it's still early on here tonight?
Yeah, right now I think the pace seems to be favoring the Port Huron High Big Reds. They appear to be moving the ball up and down the court, taking advantage of some open jump shots, and putting good pressure on the Huskies trying to get it back up the floor.
Well, Dave, this will give you a chance to run down the league standings in the MAC Red Division and the overall standings so far through 10 games here early on in the season.
On the MAC Red right now, we have Sterling Heights sitting at top all by themselves at 4-0. Port Huron Northern and Roseville are next at 3-1. Eisenhower and Port Huron High are 2-2 along with Chippewa Valley. Stevenson's 1-3 and East Detroit's 0-4.
Well, again, with a tight race out there, this is a big game. But I'll tell you, I learned something here tonight. I talked to Jim Early again before the game, and he said, Randy, it's a big game, but it's just one of many games in the MAC Red Division. He says, I've got Sterling Heights next week, Sterling Heights Stevenson after that. He says, every game's a big game in the MAC Red Division, and I know Coach Dan Hand feels the same way.
You can't take a break in this league, because if you do, you're going to get knocked off by somebody who you thought you could beat.
Again, Port Huron High still employing that diamond press against Port Huron Northern. Ratchie just a little late, going to be called for the foul.
They are going after Northern quite aggressively right now.
Well, you can't fault Eric's aggressiveness. Just a step late that time, got called for the foul.
Eric Ratchie. Number 42, Brian Coleman, back in for the Big Reds. Coleman.
Tonight, just looking at this crowd, we've got principals, Larry Moeller, school superintendent, Larry Manns, school athletic directors. We've got the Dale Voss, the college basketball coach. I'm sure we've got many dignitaries here at tonight's ball game.
A fine play over there by Brian Beckham to save that ball from going out of bounds.
Beckham shot won't go. Pickett puts it back up. Can't get it to go. Fiber the rebound to Ratchie up Port Huron High. Again, two good offensive opportunities for Northern. They couldn't cash in.
But if they keep going to the boards like that, Randy, good things are going to happen.
Ratchie tries to bank it in. Can't get it to go. Fight for it underneath. Tony Miller can't get it to go. Out of bounds to Northern. Again, both teams very aggressive here underneath the boards.
I'm impressed with both teams going hard to the offensive boards.
34, Chris Hall checks back in for Northern.
What's the middle now, Terry? Right now, Terry. Right there.
2-on-1, Ward back. And credit the basket to Tony Powell. But the Port Huron High fans very upset that a travel call wasn't called against Chris Hall.
Get the game.
Well, Randy, I think you're going to find that all night long. Both sides are going to question the officiating, but I think it was a good call that time.
And Northern whistled for a foul. Their fourth on 24, Andre Powell, his second.
Tony Miller, number 22.
And Tony Miller will go to the line to shoot two for Port Huron High School.
Tony shooting a pair.
Tony's first time at the line tonight. Let's see what he can do. Tony will try to split the pair. Tony, only a sophomore, the catalyst, kind of like the quarterback, him and Keith Gates here for Port Huron High.
As I said earlier, he's doing a good job working off some screens, trying to get the open jump shot, or driving to the basket.
Can't get it to go, but his brother Terry on a nice rebound, but I believe it's off the hands there of 42, Brian Coleman. Again, Terry Miller did a fine job, just got it stripped away.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Spacing so important against the trap. Nice steal by Miller. Puts it up and in. Miller over Beckham.
Big Reds are putting a lot of pressure on right now. The Huskies look a little rattled out there.
Another steal by Miller. All on a takeaway.
Good job by Chris Hall to get back and get a turnover right back for the Huskies.
And number 44, you could hear that all the way up here. Dwayne Ward's going to be called on the foul, and Andre Powell's going to shoot too. Well, I'll tell you, both teams, since they run such a high-potent offensive attack, very fast-paced, you're going to have a lot of turnovers, and sometimes that's misleading because when you run such a run-and-gun offense, you're just going to have turnovers. That's one of the things you're going to have.
Well, that's right. You kind of give something to get something. The idea is to get an easy basket on the other end, but sometimes you're going to get a turnover to go along with it.
Andre ties the score at 10-all with 1:21 to go in the ball game. He doesn't put Port Huron Northern ahead as Miller rips the rebound down for the Big Reds.
Pull that ball up, baby. You the secret. I'll take him.
You can see Brian Coleman setting the high screen, then rolling down inside and posting up. He's doing a nice job.
Miller for three, can't get it to go. Hall on the rebound. Under a minute to go. 10-10 our score from Port Huron Northern. And again, we should bring up again, David, that Keith Gates has been on the bench since about the 2-minute mark of this first quarter, saddled with 2 quick fouls.
Yeah, I don't think Jim Early wanted to go to the bench that early, especially with a guard. But they've gotten some good play from the other guards. And Northern's pressure has not hurt them on the offensive end yet.
We've talked a lot about the sophomores, Snyder and Beckham and Miller. We talk about the juniors, Bobby Wright and Beckham and Keith Gates. But I tell you, tonight it might be the senior leadership of Terry Miller. And again, Andre Powell hitting that big three-pointer to put Northern up by 3 with 10 seconds to go. Ratchie for 2. All net for Eric Ratchie. Dawson from half court extended. It'll count, but he can't get it to go. And our score after 8 minutes of action, the hometown Huskies 13 and the hometown Big Reds 12.
A lot of exciting action in that first quarter.
Well, again, my salute tonight is to the fans. We've been doing these games over the years. I can never remember quite as solid as tonight. And again, we invite all you fans in the Channel 6 listening audience to come out and enjoy one of your local high school basketball games, wrestling, women's volleyball, hockey. Again, the price of admission is well worth it to cheer your favorite team, whether it's Port Huron High or Port Huron Northern or one of the St. Clair Area League teams on as they play. Again, the money goes to the schools and helps all area athletics.
And when you see a crowd like this tonight, the athletic directors must really enjoy it because, you know, with athletics there always comes budget problems, and when you see a crowd like this, there's a few extra dollars to put in the coffers, and it will go to help support athletics when it, you know, when times get a little tougher in the future.
And we mentioned it earlier, the game didn't start till after 7:30, but at 7:15 they had locked the doors, sold out gymnasium 15 minutes before the game. Nobody in, and if you left, you weren't coming back in. So again, we salute the fans here tonight for their fine turnout of tonight's ball game. Just underway, second quarter action, 13-12 Northern. Scramble on the floor, picked up by Ward. His shot's up, but blocked out of bounds by number 50, Dawson. Nice block there by Dawson.
Rob Dawson's done a lot inside for the Huskies so far tonight. He's blocked a couple of shots. He's gotten some good rebounds on the inside. Good defensive player.
Well, somebody that Jim Early might want in there right now is Van Williams, as Dawson blocks another shot, but Van Williams has been out with the flu all week for the Big Reds.
Terry Miller's made 3 steals so far, Randy. All getting back from transition, too. Very quick.
Well, I know Dale Voss, the community college coach, has had his eye all year on Terry Miller.
Another play. Terry got back in transition and batted the ball to his brother, Tony.
3-on-2. Dawson with the block, but he's going to be called with the body.
Port Huron High has done a good job stepping up the tempo to start this second period, trying to take the lead back from the Huskies.
I'll tell you, number 30, Terry Miller, he's the leading scorer of the Big Reds. And I unofficially, I've only got him down for 4 points here early on, but he's done a great job defensively here tonight for Port Huron High School.
He sure has. Sometimes those stats go unnoticed because nobody keeps tracks of bets and steals and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's interested in how many points did he score. He's doing an excellent job leading the Port Huron High Big Reds.
Number 20, Jeff Gregbaum, checks in for Coach Dan Hanton, as Ward will go to the line to shoot 2. Again for High, we've got Ward at the line, the Miller brothers, Eric Ratchie and Brian Coleman. For Northern, we've got the Powell brothers, Beckham, Wright, and Gregbaum. Bobby Wright, nice baseline move, but it goes off his hands out of bounds. And I tell you, Bobby Wright, the leading scorer of Northern, has really been held in check defensively here tonight so far.
Yeah, he's really been quiet. He's only touched the ball a couple of times. To his credit, though, he's trying to make something happen, going baseline there, trying to draw an easy bucket. Unfortunately, it just went off his hands and out of bounds.
Nice steal by Tony Powell up against Tony Miller. Tony Powell over Tony Miller.
Oh, come on, man, he's fouling it.
Nice dish pass underneath from Miller to Ward, out of bounds to Port Huron High underneath the west basket.
Andre Paul did a nice job there to reach out and knock the ball away. It could have been an easy basket on the inside for the Big Reds.
Go back quick. Post up, let's go. He's fouling it.
Terry Miller goes baseline, offensive foul, says referee Jimmy Gosker.
Terry Miller, offensive foul.
That's his first foul. Port Huron High wants a timeout.
Jim Early takes his first with 6:16 to go in the first half. Northern 15, Port Huron High 14.
Let's go, baby.
Well, David, I know you're still the the head football coach for Memphis. But switching to basketball, how many years did you coach at Memphis, and was an enjoyable experience for you there?
Oh yeah, it was. I coached for 4 years, 2 on the JV level, 2 on the varsity level. But coaching football and basketball back to back gets to be quite a toll. So I made a decision to stay with one sport and not the other, although I still like both sports. They're both great for kids and great fan participation sports. So this is a great side like to get into. It keeps me involved in the game, but not on the floor anymore.
Okay. How would a team? I know they're a class smaller schools. How would a Memphis and a K-Pac stack up against a High and a Northern this year?
Well, Memphis has got an outstanding team this year. However, size, Northern and High both have an advantage. Quickness, I think they have an advantage. You just have more athletes to choose from in a Class A school, so naturally you're going to get more talent on any given year.
And number 12, Keith Gates, checks back in. Again, Keith sat with 2 fouls and sat down for about the last 8 minutes.
Number 34, Chris Hall in for the Huskies.
Hall in for Coach Dan Hinton. Greg Baum takes a seat next to his coach.
Where your heart at, big man? What's the middle? What's the middle?
Again, the presses work for Coach Jim Early, and he's been in it all game as Keith Gates, unfortunately, picks up his third. Jim Early looking across his troops, and he's going to have Keith. There's so much time left in the ball game, Keith's going to have to sit down. I don't know how he can keep him in.
That hurts. There's 5:43 left to go in the half. Just got him back into the ball game after that timeout. Kept into the press. Unfortunately, Keith reached in and picked up his third foul.
Number 54, Carlos Ellis.
And Coach Jim Early decides to go with a bigger lineup as Carlos Ellis checks in for Keith Gates. And again, I'm sure Keith very disappointed here. Again, the spark plug of the team, very quick player defensively and offensively. And again, when you have to come in and then sit down that quickly, you just can't get in the flow of the ball game.
No, and that's going to be the Huskies' advantage in the second half. He's going to be a little bit rusty still, and they're going to have worked out some of the bugs and probably trying to take advantage of them in the second half.
Tony Powell extends the Porter Northern lead to 3.
Come on, listener. Oh.
Coleman shot's blocked by Hall, but I think Hall's going to be called on foul. Indeed, he is. And Coleman will go to the line to shoot 2.
Okay, man, let's go, baby.
Foul on Chris Hall at the line. Ryan Coleman with a big grab.
Jim Early told me he didn't want to play him unless he had to. And Van Williams, who's been out the last 2 days, sick with the flu, Jim Early needs him. Van wants to play, and he's into the ball game here with 5:22 to go in the first half. And I like that. I like players that even though you might have a little injury or a cold or something, in a big game such as this, you've got to play over it.
Yeah, he's going to be important too. He's a 6'3" player. They're going to need some bodies to go inside and get some offense and defensive rebounds. So it's good to see that he's healthy enough to get in there and play tonight.
Nice pass by Bobby Wright, but Powell can't get it to go. Miller on a rebound.
Excellent job. Bobby Wright draws a crowd. He passes to a wide open teammate.
We could either have a travel, we could have a foul, or we could have a jump ball. And I like the good kind of no-call jump ball. Possession arrow favors Porter Northern.
Probably a good no call right there. Sometimes you can call a defensive foul, an offensive foul. Like you said, a travel. There was a good no call.
Credit the pass to Bobby Wright. Credit the basket to Powell. Tony Powell will go to the line and try to cap off a 3-point play. The foul is on number 42, Brian Coleman, his second. And again, we saw that play just about 10 seconds ago, but Powell couldn't finish it off. This time, he makes no mistake about it.
Same play as before. Bobby Wright bringing up the side versus the press, brought the ball to the middle. Did an excellent job because that's what you want to do. It draws the defense to you and passed off to a wide open teammate for the easy 2 and the foul.
Powell can't get it to go. Coleman smacks the ball on a rebound. He wanted it badly. 19-14 our score from Port Huron Northern Gymnasium.
Right there.
Coleman pump fakes his man. Nice play by Brian Coleman.
Good up fake by Brian Coleman. Got his man off the feet, drove around him for the easy bunny.
And Jim Early, seeing that his team picks up some fouls on the press, falls back into the 3-2 zone. Andre Powell from 15, all net for Andre Powell. And Andre saw his brother just score, and he says, I'm going to score too.
So far, it's been the Powell brothers leading the way for the Huskies. I have Anthony with 8 points and Andre with 9 points.
Well, if that's right, as Coleman hits another bucket, that's 17 of the 21 Northern points.
Hey, Marty! You better get him out, Bobby!
Powell for 3, and Andre Powell fills it up. He fills it.
What a nice release on that shot. He had plenty of leg, plenty of arm, good release. Look for him to keep shooting the ball out there.
And Bobby Wright can't believe it. Either could Coach Dan Hen. Bobby picks up the foul.
Port Huron High's doing a good job of setting some high screens. Bobby Wright tried to run through that one, picked up his second personal foul.
Dawson checks back in as well as number 14, David Baer for Coach Dan Hen. Also number 20, Jeff Craigbaum for Northern. So both teams going to their bench early and often in the first half.
Yeah, it appears Northern's looking for the right guard combination out there right now. I've noticed that Troy Schneider came back in, but he disappeared right away again, so maybe that knee injury is a little bit more severe than we originally thought.
Good point, David. I failed to bring that up. Again, we have not seen Troy Schneider here, so it's kind of evened out with Keith Gates in foul trouble having to sit down, and Troy Schneider with an injury. They've kind of negated each other.
I agree with that.
Coleman in a one-on-one situation. Spins out, but falls for Brian.
Big man, baby! Big man! You a big man, Marty Nichols!
Brian hits them both. 24-20 Northern.
Brian Coleman has 6 points this quarter. He's probably single-handedly keeping the Big Reds right in this ball game.
Shots up by Bear, can't get it to go. Out of bounds too, Port Huron High. And number 14, Dave Bear, just stepped in but wasn't afraid to fill it up. Unfortunately, the basket wouldn't go.
No, he wasn't. He had the shot on the wing, and like good shooters will do, he looked for the shot and he put it up. I'm impressed with the hustle, Randy, on both sides right now. That ball was obviously going out of bounds, but Tony Powell went for it.
Credit to steal the Bear. Andre Powell to go to the line. I believe the foul's on Miller. Let's check it and see.
If it is, it's going to be his second personal foul.
At the line, Andre Powell.
It is on Terry Miller. Andre will shoot 2. And again, Port Huron High here with a lot of time left, a lot of key players in foul trouble.
Right now they have Keith Gates with 3 fouls, Terry Miller with 2, Brian Coleman with 2. So those are 3 big name players for the Big Reds having foul trouble.
Andre hits them both, 26-20 Northern. Ellis' shot, no good. Rebound, Tony Miller.
Tony Miller is Johnny on the spot to get that tip in. Huskies didn't check off on the boards that time. Randy, if they don't, I really believe that with the lineup they have in, they're not going to be able to out-rebound the Big Reds.
And Dawson drives to the basket, hammered underneath by Carlos Ellis, and I believe he'll shoot 2.
Hold on to Carlos. Carlos Ellis on the foul. Duncan Dawson.
Carlos Ellis' second foul.
Number 32, Hitman Pickens.
Tony Powell and Pickens checks in for Coach Dan Hinton. Again, we've had so many player changes here tonight. It's very hard to keep up with what exactly the 10 players are on the floor.
Sure is. Both coaches are doing a good job of trying to keep their players fresh. That could prove very valuable in the second half.
Rob hits the first.
He's got a nice touch from the free throw line. Oftentimes you find the big guys more comfortable with their back to the basket, but he steps right up there. He's 2 of 3 so far, going for number 3 right here.
Well, his development over the last couple years is the key. One of the main ingredients why Northern is 9-1 overall.
Confidence, you can just see that. Randy stepped up there, got the ball, took a couple dribbles, and drained the free throw.
Coleman from 10, can't get it to go. Rebound Pickens. Coleman over the back. And I believe that's Coleman's third.
It is, Randy. Looks like Jim Early's going to have to go to the bench again, and he is.
And I see Eric Ratchie and Van Williams checking in for Porter High.
Huskies did a nice job of forming a rebounding triangle down there, which caused the foul on that play. They had it all boxed out when he came in for the offensive board. He ran into number 32, John Pickett, who will go to line and shoot 1-1.
Well, we've seen a lot of players get a lot of early PT time here that we haven't seen all year, and this is going to be invaluable for them besides tonight's game later on in the second half of the MAC Red season.
That's right, you can never have too deep of a bench, especially in a tough conference like the MAC.
And referee Joel Vania calls over his assistant referee Jim Gosker to discuss a few things. We're going to get it ironed out with public address announcer John Brown. As soon as we find out, we'll let our audience know at home.
The last bucket does not count. The shooter should have been Dawson.
Oh, they're making a correction right now. They said that John Pickett wasn't the proper person to have on the line. Referee Joel Vina stepped in, said that the shooter should have been Rob Dawson, so now they're putting him on the line. It'll be interesting to see, do they get 2 shots or 1 here?
Well, I think what Coach Dan Hand is saying, fine, but you've got to give us the bucket. Now you put Dawson on, but I don't think you can wave off the bucket. Let's see who wins that argument.
Well, I think they are going to wave off the bucket because you cannot put the wrong person on the foul line, whether it be accidentally or intentionally. So I believe you're going to see Rob Dawson shooting 2 foul shots here. Or check that, it'll be a 1-and-1 situation.
Well, they are going to wave off. They are going to wave it off, but Dawson will be in a 1-on-1 situation. And Rob gets it back as he hits the first of 2.
Rob's 4 of 5 from the line tonight.
Both teams have shot very well from the free throw line tonight. I said that would be a key earlier, and again, they've done a fine job.
Right now, it's the difference in the ball game. Northern's been the line quite a few more times.
Andre Powell on a big rebound off the miss. (29-22) our score with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Beckham, big move, baseline, can't get it to go. Tony Miller on the rebound, quickly up to his brother Terry.
Excellent move on the baseline, just couldn't get the bucket to drop. Interesting to see the Huskies stay in a man-to-man defense here. They've gone with perhaps a little bit slower guards, especially when comparing to Troy Snyder, who seems to be all over the place out there. But they've stayed right in their man-to-man, putting good pressure on the Big Reds.
Nice steal by Miller. The 2 brothers underneath to each other. Tony puts it up. Ain't counted. A little sloppy underneath, but the Miller brothers got it together. Terry to Tony. Tony with the basket, and he'll go to try to cap off the 3-point play.
Nice play.
And I'll tell you, Tony picked the pocket clean, and the Northern player didn't see him coming at all.
No, he didn't. A little sloppy out front. It looked like they were trying to set a play. He had turned his back, and Tony Miller stepped up and got the big steal.
And Tony caps off the three-point play. Northern by 4.
Port Huron High stepping up the pressure here on the defensive end.
Beckham thought about the 3, but gave it up to Powell. Powell throws it up. I think they'll count the continuation. Terry Miller, that's got to be his 3rd, I believe. Unofficially, we'll check it. His first. Thank you, Dave. And Andre Powell will go to the line to shoot 2.
Andre Paul at the line, 2 shots.
He needs some help. He needs some help.
Andre rattles the first one home.
He needs some help out there, brother.
He's been very good from the line also tonight. Right now he's
The boy needs
4
some
or
help.
5.
Second one a little bit too hard. Ward on the rebound.
So whenever you say that, you always jinx him on the second shot.
And Jovania calls 3 seconds against High. Turnover to the Huskies.
Miller got caught and didn't have anyone to pass to, and they were trying to post up inside, but just didn't get out of the lane.
And Rob Dawson, I think his hands might be a little slippery. That just, I know he didn't mean for it to go out of bounds, but just a bad pass. That's about all you could say.
Yeah, I'm not sure Dan Hinton wants Rob handling the ball against the press. Seems to me a guard was available, but Rob's been handling the ball the last 2 times versus the press. Look for Coach Hinton to make a change there.
Give it to him. Give it to him.
Nice play by Beckham. That's a coast to coast. Good no call by the official. Credit the basket to Beckham.
It's his first basket of the night, and what a tough way to get it.
Tony Miller tries to answer, can't get it to go. Ward underneath, scramble on the floor.
Look at the hustle out there.
And Terry Miller steps on the baseline.
Both Tony Powell and Dwayne Ward put their bodies on the line to go get that thing. Big Reds initially came up with it, but then stepped out of bounds.
9.3 seconds remaining in the first half. 32-25. For your Northern. Shaka Smith checks in for Terry Miller.
Hey, Wayne, get back. Get back.
A little bit of trouble inbounding the ball. Lots of pressure by the Big Reds here.
They're going to have to quickly get it over to beat the 10 seconds they just do with 2 seconds to go. Chris Halt's going to try to bank it in. Can't get it to go. And at the end of 1 half of wild action here for Port Huron Northern, it's the Huskies 32, the Big Reds 25. We'll be right back after these